sir?
It's over.
Yeah, okay. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, everyone. Call the roll, please.
Mayor Bailey?
Here.
Mr. Bateman?
Here.
Mr. Blair?
Here.
Mr. Hart?
Here.
Mr. Ori?
Here.
Vice Mayor Phelps?
Here.
Mr. Ping?
Here.
He's in shadow.
Oh, goodness.
Our vice mayor is here via Zoom, for the record. Welcome, everyone, with us tonight. Wonderful representatives of our police department. Our Director of Finance, Mark Medler, Assistant City Manager, Corey Wright, Clerk of Council, Misty Brent, City Manager, Dave Kennedy, City Solicitor, Joe Braun, Safety Director, Sue Madsen, and our Chief of Police, Michael Gabrielson. Also with us, I'm trying to make sure I get everyone, our President of Little Miami River Chamber Alliance, CC Collins, is here. And we are, there he is, very honored to have Chief Tom Wells, who is the Chief of Springdale. He's here representing the, on behalf of the Police Chiefs Association, and also several individuals from Kettering. So thank you all for being here, and our new Chiefs family. We're glad to have all of you here. So with no further ado, Chief, join us at the podium.
So, first of all, I want to thank everyone for their patience. I continue to blame the delay in getting this process done on Sue. Sorry, Sue, but
Under the bus.
I got very complacent because Sue stepped in and really helped us out. And she was also played a very pivotal role in keeping me guided and helping me through the interview process. We had a lot of candidates. Sue would help me point out the important questions and help me with that process. And through it all, we ended up finding somebody we all feel is definitely the right person for the job, and integrity and honesty and all of those things, along with a lot of experience, was really the deciding factor in this. And Michael, I do appreciate your patience too, because I typically don't move that slow. But I want to give a real quick rundown a little bit about Michael. And I just want to also point out that it's pretty impressive when people from the department you're leaving show up, travel down here. And I really appreciate Kettering Contingency and, of course, Chief, I'm sorry. But it says a lot about the career that you've built up and the character that you possess when you have people like that show up. So a little bit about Chief Michael Gabrielson. He goes by Mike. He prefers to be called Mike. But Chief Gabrielson began his law enforcement career with the Kettering Police Department in July of '93. Began as a patrol officer and was later selected for criminal investigations, where he served over 9 years, spending most of those years in an undercover capacity. He was assigned to countywide narcotics task force working drug, liquor, and vice crimes, and later to a statewide organized crime task force targeting criminal organizations and public corruption, where he was deputized by the FBI and the U.S. Marshal's Office. These complex investigations extended through the United States and were a collaborative effort between many local, state, and federal law enforcement agencies. Most notably, Chief Gabrielson was the primary undercover agent to Operation Bite Back, the nation's first long-term undercover infiltration of an organized dogfighting enterprise. Operation Bite Back resulted in the arrest and conviction of over 50 defendants for crimes involving stolen property, fraud, narcotics and trafficking, firearms possession and trafficking, animal fighting, and gambling. Operation Bite Back is one of the nation's largest and most successful dogfighting investigations in the history. Chief Gabrielson received a Bachelor's of Economics from Eastern Michigan University, a Master's in Justice Administration from Tiffin University, and has completed the Northwestern University School of Police Chiefs in Command. Chief Gabrielson is married to his wonderful wife, Heather. He has 3 adult children, 2 beautiful granddaughters, 7 and 2.5, and a new 3-month-old grandson. In his time off, you can find Mike, as he is known outside of work, completing DIY projects around the house, cooking and spending time with his family. Away from home, Heather and Mike enjoy their property near Lake Cumberland and hiking the many U.S. national parks. So again, it was a long process. I'm very happy with the choice that we made. And I want to thank everyone, Sue, Corey, Misty, because we take this role very seriously. I think people know how we feel and how this city council feels about their police department. We're growing it. We're building it. We're investing in it. And we've got the right man to help lead that effort. So we're really excited about it. So Mayor's going to do the official swearing in, and I'm going to step over here.
Well, first, I'd like to welcome Mike to the city of Loveland. It is quite a testament to have your former colleagues be here for this event. I think there are two staff positions in the city that really decide the tenor and sort of what is our city going to be, and that is certainly the city manager, and that's the chief of police, in my opinion, are the two positions that have the most impact on what our city is. And I have heard nothing but wonderful things about you, from people that have known you in your past career, from people that have only known you for this time that you've been in the city. Your reputation is amazing. So I feel like we hit the jackpot with getting you here, and I think you're going to be one heck of a great asset for this city. So we're very glad to have you here.
Thank you.
All right, let's do this. I state your name.
I, Michael Gabrielson,
Solemnly swear that I will
solemnly swear that I will
support the Constitution of the United States,
support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and the Charter and ordinances
and the Charter and ordinances
of the City of Loveland,
of the City of Loveland,
and will obey the laws thereof,
and will obey the laws thereof,
and will faithfully discharge
and will faithfully discharge
the duties of Chief of Police
the duties of Chief of Police
upon which I am about to enter.
upon which I am about to enter.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Can't help but say something. This is the official granting of intent of this chief for the city.
Is that right?
Wow.
You have to look that way. I have to take a few photos.
Now you can stab it.
It's been a few years since I stood at a podium and addressed a crowd like this, so got to get the readers out to actually see this time. So first of all, thank you, Mayor Bailey, Council, Mr. Kennedy, and Sue for everything that you've done for me. All the Loveland staff, everybody's been fantastic. Just couldn't have welcomed me any better. But I would not be here for excuse me, the love and support of several of the people that you see sitting in the front row over here, my family, in any law enforcement career. The family takes the brunt of the sacrifices that are required for us to have a successful career. The late nights, the long weekends, the holidays, the missed birthdays, whatever it is, that only begins to describe what a public safety family endures as you have a long career. And my family has definitely stuck by my side, continued to support me, and that's one of the biggest reason why I'm standing here this evening. So, in addition to, well, let me just point out a couple of them. Begin by recognizing my beautiful, energetic, wonderful, and fantastic wife, who is my absolute best friend. Heather, thank you. Is that good? That's Wheel of Fortune, absolutely. My daughter Logan, who dealt with being warned whenever she went out and interrogated whenever she came home. Thank you. And incidentally, as Mr. Kennedy said, her sister with our 3 grandchildren and brother are on vacation this week. So Logan, if you didn't know before, you're my favorite. Sitting to their left, my parents, they are affectionately known as Grammy and Poppy amongst our circle. They have instilled and demonstrated the values that make me the man, the husband, and the officer I am today. Thank you very much. my father-in-law, Alan, at the far right over there. In addition to raising the best woman on the planet, good, all right, he has continued to give us unconditional love and support our family. Also, many friends and coworkers at the back of the room here, thank you so much for coming. I really do appreciate it. The significant impact that you all have contributed to my career, the friendship that you've shown me. Honestly, you probably don't realize everything that you've done for me, so thank you. To the officers of LPD, several of them here, thank you for showing up, coming to support me today, and the citizens of Loveland. I want to express to each of you the honor that I feel standing here this evening. If you listen to an organization, they will tell you what you need. If you listen to a community, they will tell you what you want. It is my purpose to listen and work with everyone to get them what they need, achieve what they want in a way that is best for this organization and for this community. When you listen effectively, you often point others to their own answers and empower them to manifest successful strategies. So in 29 years of law enforcement, there's definitely two things that I know the officers and the staff of all police departments absolutely loathe. Number one, when things stay the same. Number two, when things change. But I hope the words of McDonald's president and CEO, who, if you didn't know, actually graduated from nearby Indian Hill High School, hopefully this will ease your mind. Change brings opportunities for discussion, introspection, and ultimately renewal. It is often difficult to accept change, but I ask everyone, the officers and the citizens, instead of shying away from change, embracing that renewal. Again, to LPD officers and the staff, I just want you to take this message, and specifically for you, this organization and this chief will support you 100% when you are trustworthy, respectful, professional, and work diligently to make Loveland a better and safer community. I promise you that. That is my pledge to you. To the Loveland community, this agency will strive to keep your support and trust as it has earned over the years by continuing to enforce the laws impartially and by respecting community principles. I just want to thank everyone again, express how excited I am to be here for this opportunity for renewal for myself and for this agency and for the community. Again, Mayor Bailey, City Council, Mr. Kennedy, Sue, thank you so much for everything, and everyone have a wonderful evening. Thank you.
Congratulations.
I figured as much. Oh, gee. No, I no.
I don't have to.
Okay. We'll do council, and then you want a picture with your family. All right. Do that. And then they don't. Yeah, we'll do it. You want just you and your family? Yeah. Anybody want? Okay.
Try to explain that. Yeah. Who's that? I don't know.
Yeah. Does anybody else?
So you did that video so well. Damn, I didn't. Shoot.
One more.
See, boss. See, boss. Sorry, assistant finance director.
All right.
Thanks again, Chief.
They're gonna head on out. So, but I'm gonna stay.
Well,
No. Brilliant. I don't think he lives in Kentucky. I think
mm-hmm.
We good?
You're live.
We're live again. So we have two honors tonight, and I'm not going to go too deep because I don't think Chuck wants that. But I will tell you that I've been here 9 years. When I was here 8 years, I had 6 finance directors in 8 years. Those days are coming to an end because I think Mark is going to outlast Eva for his long tenure. He's very happy here, and he's doing a great job. We have worked hard to try to get good people that understand what customer service is. And that's a priority. That's been a priority for me. It's been a priority for Mayor Bailey. We were really fortunate when we went looking for an assistant finance director. This is Mark's right hand. This is someone who's going to be a big part of our budget team. You remember me talking about changes we made to Paycor to change this position. And I think thanks to some contacts that Corey had, I think we really got lucky, and we found Charles Baston, he goes by Chuck, to be as our assistant finance director, sort of hands down. I mean, we knew right away that this was the right person for the job. What's this saying about keep your enemies close? Chuck has audited over 350 communities. I think including us, including Union. And I think that's really important because financial transparency is a big deal. Chuck will be able to assist us with policies and everything that we do. We don't get budget awards for nothing. And we're really excited about Chuck joining our team. So Chuck, why don't you come up? Chuck Basting's our new assistant finance director.
Hold on now. I just want to welcome Chuck. I mean, it's kind of like we found something we didn't even know we were looking for. Found Chuck. It's what you're bringing to the table is something we really didn't even dream we could get for this position. So I know Dave and Mark are very excited to have you here. So
kind of a shock for me.
yeah,
Switch.
you weren't expecting this either.
Not really until I heard from Corey.
Corey can be persuasive. All right. Well, we're glad you're here. All right. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. I state your name.
I, Charles Bastion,
Solemnly swear that I will
solemnly swear that I will
support the Constitution of the United States,
support the Constitution of the United
the
States,
Constitution of the State of Ohio,
the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and the Charter and ordinances
and the Charter and ordinances
of the City of Loveland,
of the City of Loveland,
and will obey the laws thereof,
and will obey the laws
and will faithfully discharge
and will faithfully discharge
the duties of Assistant Finance Director,
the duties of Assistant Finance Director,
upon which I'm about to enter.
on which I'm about to enter.
Congratulations.
Okay. I've been in this business a long time, finance, accounting, done an awful lot of audits, seen a lot of government waste. I'm not afraid to speak my mind, and you'll know that. But you have an honest person, and you have one of the hardest working people you ever meet, I think. I think my background check went through pretty well, and nothing in the closet. I am here to help Mark and Corey and Dave in the management of the city, and thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. Congratulations. Oh. Who gets this photo?
You
bet. I hope so.
And they'll be
You can get this.
Congratulations. Very nice to meet you. Pictures?
What was it, Chuck?
Oh, no.
Mike Meldon, this is not on the agenda. This is an add-on, but I believe Mr. Meldon would like to say a few words.
Globally, including right here in Loveland, there's a silent crisis occurring that threatens the ecosystems that support communities and our livelihoods. Healthy ecosystems provide us with clean air, clean water, safe food, a hospitable climate, recreational opportunities, and spiritual connections. The biodiversity crisis, as we call it, seeks to degrade the integrity of ecosystems in a way that threatens our access to the previously mentioned benefits and more. The troubling loss of diversity and abundance in species of wildlife, plants, fungi, and more that all play an important roles in ensuring ecosystems' health has accelerated in the past several decades. For example, with the World Wildlife Fund's 2018 Living Planet report demonstrates a global wildlife population loss of 60% between 1970 and 2014. Another example, in North America, there are 3 billion fewer birds than what occupied our landscapes in 1970. With that said, conservation of habitats and support that support biodiversity is not keeping pace with growing threats to our land, waters, wildlife, and other ways of life. Every 30 seconds, the United States loses a football field of natural lands to roads, houses, pipelines, and other development. 40 acres of farmland in the United States are lost to development every hour. As communities around the world begin to come to terms with the loss of species and the ecosystems upon which they depend, governments, organizations, and citizens are beginning to adopt a role of environmental stewardship and take action to reverse these alarming trends. Indeed, there is a paradigm shift slowly starting to take root in the way communities are addressing the biodiversity crisis in their local green spaces and their own backyards. As members of the Tree and Environment Committee, Doug and I sought to improve the health of our local forests, fields, and other natural areas. We've been lucky enough to have had the support and guidance of our city manager, Dave Kennedy. While many people in government and private citizens seem hesitant or unwilling to adopt this role of environmental stewardship, Mr. Kennedy has demonstrated time and time again that he needs no lead or persuasion to do what is right for our environment and supporting initiatives that do so. This willingness to make meaningful change through government is what allowed Doug and me to focus on more private citizens and on their land, thus creating our organization, Love Our Land. Through our work now with both organizations, Mr. Kennedy has continued to be supportive and proactive. He realizes that a focus on conservation and the environment at large is a path that is too important to put aside or merely appeased every so often. Over the last 5 years, he has supported the creation of habitat for local pollinators, including the monarch butterfly and the American bumblebee, a species that calls Loveland home and soon may be listed on the endangered list under the Federal Endangered Species Act. Mr. Kennedy has helped begin the long process of restoring forests in the area that have been managed as turf grass. Additionally, he has been instrumental in kickstarting the free tree giveaway hosted by Loveland's Tree and Environment Committee, which will help ensure our street trees and urban forests are healthy and consist of native species that support local food webs. There are truly countless examples of Mr. Kennedy being a positive force in our community, and we are honored to present him with Love Our Land's Conservation in Action Award tonight.
You have to go down.
No, we didn't want to tell you that.
I think we need to do a picture in front.
Yes.
Because he would like that.
Yes. He loves
Or do a picture.
Oh, he doesn't like it.
He hates it.
It's just you. And then there was one. Oh, we'll try. All right, there is no open forum. So we have the review and approval of minutes from the July 26th meeting. Are there any changes, corrections?
Move to approve the minutes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Bateman?
Yes.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Mr. Hart?
Yes.
Mr. Ori?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Phelps?
Yes.
Mr. Ping?
Yes.
Mayor Bailey?
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0.
Mr. Wright?
Thank you, Mayor Bailey. This evening we have another action regarding the One Ohio opioid settlement. So, if you recall, most recently, District 14, we nominated a state foundation representative, an alternate, and now that selection has been done, the next step is with District 14. They're requiring the local governments that are participant in that to adopt the bylaws and the organization of that. So we already did that for District 2, which is Hamilton County. District 14 is the Warren-Claremont portion of the city. And so with that being situated in those two districts, we need to adopt this legislation. So the resolution put forth is pretty simple. There is the organizational structure provided with that, and this would incorporate approve the governance structure and approve the bylaws as exhibits to that resolution.
All right. Are there any questions? Mr. Bateman?
It talks about the disbursements as having the first disbursement having occurred in July 2022. And I was just curious about the sort of accounting structure for those disbursements. Is that something that's going to be set aside in a sort of fund that's allocated to the One Ohio opioid settlement so that it will accumulate and then perhaps we will decide how it best to be spent at a later date, or what's the sort of funding structure?
Mr. Medler?
I can touch on that briefly. So we're going to be required to have this in a separate fund. So on our side, we received this fund earlier in July of $4,115.10. It's currently sitting in the general fund as we await authorization to create the fund. So kind of that's what we're doing on our side of the money.
Will just as a follow-up, will the District 2 be in the same fund or a separate fund allocated for District 2?
Mr. Bateman, it's one allocation per political entity. So the city, so I was initially concerned when they published the initial distributions. I didn't find the city. I looked in Hamilton, Claremont, and Warren, but they had a separate tab, multiple jurisdictions, and that was our. So
this covers that amount would cover Loveland's portion as negotiated between both district.
Yes, they anticipate 18 payments, and it's about $4,100 each payment.
Okay,
plus or minus. So
interesting. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions or comments? Read the resolution, please.
Resolution approving participation in Region 14 governance structure and the associated bylaws under the One Ohio Memorandum of Understanding.
Comment on the legislation. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Mr. Hart?
Yes.
Mr. Ori?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Phelps?
Yes.
Mr. Ping?
Yes.
Mayor Bailey?
Yes.
Mr. Bateman?
Yes.
Resolution 73 is adopted by a vote of 7-0.
Mr. Kennedy?
So, as everyone in City Council is aware, I compare the city's many councils before this desire to maintain and operate their own water system, very similar to how this community decides that they want to maintain their own communication center. And we do it for obvious reasons. For both of them, the connection is a service to our residents. We feel very strongly that by having our own comm center, for example, our residents their safety is at a higher level. We feel that by having our own water system rather than turning it over to Claremont County or the city of Cincinnati, not only do we control our rates, but the customer service, the response to leaks, all of those different things. It's really important. This year is a big focus. The Finance Commission's doing it. We're in the midst of a budget now to really turn the tide on our water system and begin to do to our water system what we're doing to our road program, which is focus on it, start nipping away at it. So that aside, I don't know if everybody realizes that, but our water system pumps out 1.2 million gallons a day. At this very moment, there's 5 million gallons of water stored in this system. We have 3 pump stations, 3 ground tanks, 4 elevated storage tanks, and over 76 miles of water mains. And I know I keep saying this, but we recently replaced water mains on Main Street that predated Teddy Roosevelt. And behind all of that is a face that not many of you would know, and his name is Ricky Gregory. He's our water treatment plant operator. The city is a Class 2 water system. It's based on population. It's based on production. And based on that, we must have a licensed Class 2 operator, what they call OIC, operator in charge. What does that mean? Ricky's responsible for everything that happens: chemicals, production, flow. That SCADA system, some of you, I know Kip understand, we talked about it, but that SCADA system that runs all of the pumps and the valves, all of that is under Ricky. And not only that, we have some Class 1 operators. Ricky's responsible for everything they do. Little added touch, Ricky also has a lab certification, and based on that, the city saves significant money because we do all of our EPA-required lab testing in-house. Something that's always not bothered me, but I didn't think was right, was the fact that we don't have a separate classification titled water treatment plant operator. Ricky's at an entry-level position. He's got a license that would take any of us right now 8 years to secure. He's extremely happy working for the city of Loveland. And I feel that it's time that we create a position, water treatment plant operator, as does the vast majority of the communities in the state of Ohio that operate their own water system. This hasn't been done in the past because, quite frankly, Ricky never mentioned it, never cared about it, and it doesn't mean anything. What does mean to us, we need to put that classification for someone that has that kind of responsibilities at a certain and so this has no immediate financial impact to the city. This is simply creating the position, water treatment plant operator, putting it in a class 6, which is the same as a supervisor in the public works, and having that position. If Ricky would leave tomorrow, we would be doing this because we would want to advertise not that we're hiring a maintenance worker, that we're hiring a water treatment plant operator. So on paper, it's simply moving some titles around. But I know Kathy has to listen to me a lot about how important I feel the people that I get to work with every day. There's 5 of them sitting in this room that I care a lot about. And but I also think those people behind the scenes, like Ricky and the maintenance workers and the people driving the salt trucks, are extremely.
Out?
I meant Sue. Oh, I meant Joe too. I'm sorry. I did a quick count and I thought 5 was my number and got Joe.
Y'all can figure that out later.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean that, Joe. I didn't. I'm sorry, but I just.
It's good that we have a friend is the only audience member.
So, but this is just a first reading to modify the schedule of municipal positions and create this position. We actually will be bringing Ricky in to be sworn in under this position after you guys do the second reading and the 30-day referendum period goes. But that's really what it is, and it's something that he didn't ask for. So.
All right. Anybody have any comments or questions? Yes, Mr. Hart.
2 comments actually. One, I think this is after talking to Dave yesterday. I think this is a no-brainer. It makes perfect sense. Keeping good people is what good organizations do, and make sure they retain their good people. So I think that makes perfect sense from that standpoint. Question as a follow-up. I know you said there's no financial impact at this time. Is this something that you feel, because of the nature of the job, and as you mentioned, he could go elsewhere and make more money, is this something that you think maybe in the future we may have to change the pay scale for, or create something?
Well, he went
up to speed.
Yeah, we moved him into a 6, so his ability to get step raises has increased. One of the other things that we're doing that I don't know that the city does correctly is when people get licenses with water, you get a water classification upgrade. You get the same very small amount. I'd rather not discuss what that amount is, as you would if you went and got a pesticide license to go spray weeds. And we're trying to write that too to make it more desirable. I think this council, I know Mayor Bailey is, we're all about succession. If Ricky leaves tomorrow, we do not have a class 2. We want to encourage some of our class 1s to work towards class 2. That part of that is having enough of an increase. So yeah, Ricky will be in a position where he can get a greater increase. I can't help but mention that during the period of time that I was looking for the language to create the job description, I couldn't help but notice what cities like Kettering and some of the other communities are paying their water plant operator. And he has never once asked for anything. And I think I just forwarded to all of you an email we got from the owner of River Ridge Apartments during a massive water break that they had at 3 a.m. And if you called that, and that was totally unsolicited by the owner of one of the larger apartment developments in the city, about how impressed he was that Ricky sat out there all night doing that kind of stuff. These guys do all this. They do this all the time, and it's pretty impressive. So,
good. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Mr. Ping?
Yeah, I just wanted to thank Dave for being forward thinking in this. I think it's important even for smaller communities like Loveland to maintain this kind of equipment. And the reason I say that is exactly what you just referred to. If we're part of a larger water system, regardless of what that is, the attention that we're going to get is not going to be the same. And I think government is most successful when nobody notices that there is a government, because it is people working behind the scenes and doing these things. And so being proactive and pushing this forward and getting the right people in place, keeping the right people, like Mr. Hart said, is critical. And so, I guess I just wanted to say thanks and appreciate your efforts in that regard, because while these guys are working behind the scenes, they would be front and foremost if something happens and we aren't prepared. So it's definitely a great thing to have qualified people, and I do appreciate that.
Thank you. Vice Mayor?
I think Mr. Kennedy referred to the position that we're creating, or he is being given, is water treatment plant operator. Is it not water treatment plant superintendent?
Yeah, Corey and I talked about this. It goes both ways. We felt that I put it in the forefront, and it's in the table. That we're going to call it water treatment plant superintendent. He technically is an operator, but most communities dub that position, which is the OIC, the operator in charge, as a water treatment plant superintendent. So we just felt that Corey and I discussed, and we just felt that was a better title. Because he's more than an operator. In my opinion, he's a lot more than an operator. Has to constantly know what changes at EPA. We just felt he's more of a superintendent because he is responsible for all the Class 1 operators below him. Anything they do, they mess up, it's on Ricky. So we just felt superintendent was more fitting.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? I know a couple years ago in Loveland U, I went to the one that was at Public Works, and Ricky gave a presentation on probably that much he knew about our water treatment and that type of thing. I was very impressed with not just his knowledge, but how much he really cares about his job and what he does. So I think this is a good move. All right, so this is the first reading only. Go ahead and read the ordinance.
Ordinance establishing the compensation and classification for the position of water treatment plant superintendent and repealing ordinance 2022-39.
Thank you. Mr. Medler.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Council. For you this evening is the second quarter financial report for 2022. As with the first quarter, income tax revenue continues to be up over the same period in 2021. Investment revenues are continuing to recover from previous lows. For example, in September of 2021, a 2-year CD was purchased with a return of just 0.35%. In June, the city purchased another 2-year CD, this time with an average of 3.35%. So we're definitely seeing things come up a little bit better. We've kept a lot of our funds in Star, Ohio, and some other investments that we have easy access to them instead of tying them up for long terms and having years and years of very low returns. So I think we did a good job waiting for that, and we'll be investing more, I think, in the future. Income tax receipts continue to rise, and property tax revenues have been stable through the first half. You'll notice on packet page 33, you'll see that in total, enterprise fund revenues are up over the same period in 2021, but this is driven by the receipt of a $75,000 grant for a water valve project. So without that grant, our revenues for our enterprise funds in total would be down. The Finance Commission has been discussing our enterprise funds at our recent meetings. Specifically, we are looking how we fund capital projects and maintaining our infrastructure. As Mr. Kennedy mentioned earlier, this is something that has taken a lot of our attention and we've been looking over for quite some time. As a whole, expenditures are up over the first half of 2021, but this is due to capital projects that are making improvements to our city and to our infrastructure. The new public works building and our road rehab projects are the main drivers of that. So with that being said, I'll open up to any questions you might have.
Anyone have any questions or comments? All right, you want to move on to the, well, no, we need to accept, don't we? We need a motion to accept the second quarter 2022 financial results and quarterly update.
Move to accept the second quarter financial review and 2022 update.
Thank you. Second. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Hart?
Yes.
Mr. Ori?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Phelps?
Yes.
Mr. Ping?
Yes.
Mayor Bailey?
Yes.
Mr. Bateman?
Yes.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0.
All right, on page 136, you also have a separate memo on the quarterly income tax update. Is there more you want to say on that?
Yes, Mayor. So as discussed, income tax revenues for the quarter as a whole are up compared to the same period in 21. Now we have our three main distinctions. We have the withholdings, withholding and business are up, while revenues from individuals are down slightly. This is due to a few large filers that made back tax payments last year, so they had some large payments up front that this year we didn't have. So again, overall, our income tax is still being a lot higher compared to last year, and that's just been continuing.
Any comments or questions on that? All right. Next, 17.1 is pretty self-explanatory. We have adopted the comprehensive master plan, so we no longer need to keep the steering committee in place. We need a motion to dissolve this comprehensive master plan steering committee.
Mayor Bailey.
Someone care to make such a motion?
Yeah, may I just make a quick comment before
You may.
motion? I would just like to say thank you one more time to all the members and all the work they put in. Tons of hours from people putting in, dedicating a lot of their own personal time to put a good product in front of the city and hopefully drive the city for the next 10 years in a great direction and set us up for success in the future. And with that, I will motion to dissolve the Comprehensive Master Planning Committee.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Any comment? Call the roll, please.
Mr. Ori?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Phelps?
Yes.
Mr. Ping?
Yes.
Mayor Bailey?
Yes.
Mr. Bateman?
Yes.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Mr. Hart?
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0.
All right, upcoming events, August 13th, Sail on the Trail from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m., hosted by Downtown Shops. August 20th, the Loveland Legacy Foundation will host its annual fundraiser dinner on Rouge. The foundation raises money to support those in crisis, area organizations, and businesses in need. Tickets must be purchased in advance. Cece, where can those tickets be purchased? Is there a website? They have a website? There you go. LovelandLegacyFoundation.org is where you get those tickets. Thank you. Does anyone else have any? Yes, Mr. Hart?
I just wanted to make a quick announcement. Ready to Roll Moving with a kid again. We'll be putting on the Dusty Sinclair Shining Stars Field Day this weekend, August 14th at Loveland. It's an event to help to have children with disabilities participate in some games, competitions, activities throughout the day. August 14th.
Any other announcements, comments? All right, can we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Vice Mayor Phelps?
Yes.
Mr. Ping?
Yes.
Mayor Bailey?
Yes.
Mr. Bateman?
Yes.
Mr. Blair?
Yes.
Mr. Hart?
Yes.
Mr. Ori?
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0.